And now let's look at chillers, that key part of a cooling system in a commercial scale building. Here are chillers at the LCC main campus. This is a brick building that is between building 12 and 15. It's their chiller building. And so these are new chillers with refrigeration systems in them. Water comes in, heat gets absorbed from the water, and the cold water, chilled water, goes out and is circulated through the buildings. Make note that chillers are the largest single user of energy in a commercial building. Up to 23% of energy used is in chillers. It's a lot of energy. And it uses this powerful refrigeration system to chill the water and then circulate it through heat exchangers. We talked about tons of cooling last time. Here's a typical range of size, 25 to 1,500 tons. So here's the deal. Water picks up heat from the building. It goes into a condenser, and the heat is given off, and the water is chilled, and it's circulated to a thing called a cooling tower, which uses evaporation, and the cooling tower cools that condenser water, and then it comes back to the chiller. Cooling towers look like this, and they're all pretty much the same. If you are up high someplace in a city and you can look down on the roof of a building and you see something like this, that's a cooling tower. It does not use refrigerant. It uses evaporation. So it has these pads that water from the chiller system trickles down over, and it evaporates. That cools the water. Then the air is blown back in and the water circulates again. These are the cooling towers at LCC. So this building back here is building 12. When I took these pictures, there was water vapor, big clouds of water vapor rising from these tops, and I thought they would show up in the picture, but I'm sorry that they don't. These are the cooling towers at UCLA down in Los Angeles. So that's their cooling tower. They're pretty massive. And what I wanted to show you here is the blowdown water from these cooling towers is what you see down here. It looks faintly green, okay, a little mist. Here's a little bit of a close-up. When you are next to these cooling tower buildings, this roars like a big waterfall. It is a lot of water. It's kind of impressive. Then there are evaporative coolers that are very similar to cooling towers. They still use the same idea. They have a wetted pad, water flows over it, air flows through, and it makes the evaporation, which cools the water. Another type of cooling that uses chilled water is called radiant cooling. Here's an example of radiant cooling from Building 30 on the LCC main campus, the Health and Wellness building. These are radiant panels in the ceiling. If you go to the downtown campus building, you'll find these radiant panels as well. So chilled water circulates through tubes in these panels, and then cool air is dense, so it falls to the floor. A related strategy is a thing called a chilled beam. These units in the ceiling here are chilled beam coolers in a theater in Portland. This is in the Pearl District in Portland, Oregon. This is the Girding Theater. And it has a cooperative relationship with the Whole Foods market nearby. Whole Foods needs a lot of chilled water for their systems, and so Whole Foods and Girding share their chilled water piping. So Whole Foods makes the chilled water, and it gets piped over to the theater building and flows through these chilled beams and cools the spaces.